In this video, I'm going to show a cool little redstone machine I made that I call the Auto-Postbox 2173. So I'm here in my test world, which is an absolute mess, and I have to use a Steve skin to show you it. Here's what it looks like. There are two machines here, number 1 and number 2. What it does is that there are two minecart tracks, and if I just roll this minecart along it with just some cobblestone, it will go along and then off the other end. But if I do this minecart, which has cobblestone, there's a piece of paper saying 1. It goes off the track here, stops there, and then unloads its stuff. Once it's done unloading, it will then leave the machine, go along the track, and off the other end. And this minecart, which has cobblestone and the paper saying 2, will skip machine number 1, but then stop and unload its stuff at number 2. Here's how it works. First, there's just a minecart track with a hopper under one block of track. The hopper points to the side, and underneath it there's another hopper, which would normally take the items from the top hopper, but it's powered by the redstone torch next to it, so it doesn't do anything. Next to the top hopper, there's a comparator, which is a thing that detects how many items or blocks are in something, like a hopper, and then releases a redstone signal. The more items in the hopper, the further the redstone power will reach. So inside the top hopper there are 22 items, 18 paper called 1, and 4 iron bars. That means that something like cobblestone won't fit in. But if there's a minecart with a paper called 1 in it, it will suck up the paper from the minecart, and then there'll be 23 items in the hopper. So the comparator will detect that and make the redstone power reach 1 block more. Now that it reaches 1 block more, it will turn off the redstone torch, so the bottom hopper will be turned on and start sucking items from the top hopper. Meanwhile, while the signal is 1 block longer, it powers 2 other redstone lines that I've shown in yellow and red. I'll get to them later. So the bottom hopper is now sucking items from the top hopper, but after just 1 bit of paper, the top hopper now has 22 items again. So the redstone torch turns on, and the bottom hopper turns off. So now it's back to how it started, with the top hopper having 22 items in it, ready for the next minecart. While that was all happening, the minecart, which it got the paper from, has got a bit further along the track. It's now about to get to the next bit, where there's a track switch which would normally go straight, but it gets powered by the red redstone line I mentioned before. Now it's powered, the track goes the other way. Meanwhile, the yellow redstone line I also mentioned before goes into a pulse extender, which is a thing where if a redstone signal that lasts for like 1 second powers it, it stays on for much longer. So when the yellow redstone line powers it for like 1 second, the pulse extender will keep it on for a few more seconds. While it's powered, it powers a redstone torch, which then turns off, which turns off a powered rail. A powered rail, when on, makes minecarts go faster, but when off, stops them moving. And the minecart from earlier has just gone off the main track, and now it goes onto the unpowered powered rail and stops. Under the powered rail, there's an empty hopper with another hopper under it. There's a comparator next to the top hopper, which detects when there's items in it. So if the minecart on the track on the hopper has anything in it, like 64 cobblestone, the cobblestone will get sucked into the hopper, which the comparator will detect and then turn on a redstone line that I've shown in green. The green redstone line powers the pulse extender. So the pulse extender will stay on until the minecart is empty. When it's empty, the pulse extender turns off and the powered rail turns on again, making the minecart, which is now empty, leave the machine and go back along the track. So what the machine has done is detected the minecart has had the right paper and then move it to another bit of track where it knows when the items are being taken out of the minecart, and when it's done, it goes back on the main track empty. So if you squeeze that into as small as possible and with 2 tracks, you'll get something a bit like this, which is as small as I could get it, but maybe it could be smaller. It's the end now, so bye 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 bye.